Hi, I'm Deborah Rosen, founder of Good Citizen Dog. For the past 16 years, I've been living my dream, training and educating dogs and their humans using the science of canine behavior. I'd like to welcome you to Dog Dish, the podcast that will help you achieve peaceful living with your dog. Welcome to Dog Dish, everyone. I'd like to welcome my newest co-host, Amber Hinkle. And Amber, say hi, Amber.
Hello, Deborah.
Hi. And I just want to let everybody know that Amber is one of my trainers at Good Citizen Dog, and she also runs this fabulous nonprofit for animals, and it's called
Animal World Rescue.
And tell us a little bit about it, Amber.
We are internationally registered, a 501c3 nonprofit. We're a foster-based organization, which means all of our animals are in home and family settings being trained and treated for any medical reasons before they're adopted.
How fabulous.
Yes.
That's great work. How long have you been at this?
5 years officially ran through the state, but several more privately.
Privately.
Yes.
Okay. Terrific. And I know that we get a number of these folks who are either fostering or adopting animals through Animal World Rescue, and they come to classes and they learn how to be better citizens. A lot of it has to do with socializing.
Absolutely.
Which, many of these dogs have had quite a checkered history of socializing, meaning they didn't get enough social time early enough. And what we do is we give them some remedial training with that, and we help their owners understand how to be better dog handlers for these types of dogs. So, so the subject of today's podcast, folks, is socializing puppies. For those of you who go to the Humane Society or the local pound or what have you, or go to rescues and actually get puppies that are very, very young. Some of you are intent on getting them early. They still need to know how to be socialized properly. And that's part of what we do at Good Citizen Dog. So Amber, what I'd like for us to talk about a little bit today for the folks listening is how to safely and adequately socialize puppies.
That sounds good. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. All right. So basically when we see them, even at 8 weeks old, there are things that people need to know about. And folks, there are still those of you who are seeing some very old school veterinarians. And I don't mean they're old chronologically, but they're very old in their philosophy. And they think that you are just not supposed to bring puppies out in public until they've had their full set of vaccines. Now, Amber, is that true?
I don't think so.
You don't think so, or you know that it's not true?
I know that it's not
true. Yeah.
Yes.
So really, frankly, folks, the only way that your puppy can get sick, and by sick, I mean sick with parvo or distemper or one of those diseases that is fatal, is they literally have to stick their nose, and this is gross, and I'm going to say it anyway, their tongue into and on the feces of a dog that's infected with those diseases. These are not airborne. And I've even co-written articles with local veterinarians that are much more progressive in their thinking about this. And what the common agreement is among those of us who are more forward thinking is that to be safe, let's have the first two sets of vaccines and come to a reputable training organization that if there is an accident in the class, all the puppies get picked up, the accident gets cleaned up and disinfected, and then the puppies are back and down, and nobody's getting exposed to anything that's fatal. Now, having said this, one of the things that we all know is, are you going to take, Amber, is it okay to take dogs out into public places and let them off leash when they're puppies?
You should keep them on leash.
Okay. All right. So keep them on leash. Do not let them get exposed to random feces from dogs that you're not familiar with that might, in fact, be carrying these things. But I will tell you, and Amber, you know this too, in 16, 17 years of doing this work, we have had not one report of parvo or distemper from someone who has attended our puppy kindergarten or puppy intermediate level class, right?
Absolutely. Eliminate the option of them ingesting it, and it's a little safer environment.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah. So there's the thing, folks. So let's just state that up front. Let's please err on the side of socializing. Bring your puppies out. If you're not in our area, search for a good, reputable training organization that takes care in how we clean and disinfect and make sure that you're going to a place that's got a great reputation, and socialize, and then socialize some more. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that what you want to do is expose your puppy not only to other puppies, but to adult dogs. And what about children, Amber? Let's talk to me a little bit about kids.
It's very important that you socialize your puppies with children at a young age. They need to learn to not jump on the children. And the children need to learn how to play with the puppies.
That's critical. That is so important. So what Amber said is that you need to expose your puppy at various ages. Likewise, you also need to say to the puppy, every child at every age is okay and safe. Because, Amber, what happens in our classes when the puppies are exposed to only one kind of child, like, say, a toddler, and then they see an older kid?
It's starting over. You have to reteach them, if they're not exposed and socialized with the different ages, that they have the same expectations.
Right,
yes.
Right. Because dogs' brains don't do what? They don't generalize. Yeah, right. So generalizing various age levels in kids. And you just need to know that dogs' brains function much, much differently. And if those of you who've heard these podcasts before have heard me wax on about socializing and generalizing, and how the two of them are not mutually exclusive, in the sense that you have to help puppies when you want them to generalize information. You have to expose them to every age of child, and you have to expose them to every iteration of human. So when I say that, I mean a human that wears a cap is way different than a human that's not wearing any kind of hat at all. To the point where, and many of you will laugh when you hear this, but dogs hate uniforms.
Yes.
They hate them.
Yes.
Why is that?
Very uncomfortable for them.
I don't know why they hate them. They just hate them. And so early on, it's important to get the UPS delivery guy. And if you have a mail carrier and we have one at our business who's just so easygoing. Many of them are already fearful because they've either gotten bitten or they've been in situations that have been dicey with dogs. But if you get a nice one who's relaxed about it and who doesn't mind, you just give them some information. Now, the information I'm going to leave you with today is this. How you address a dog is critical to that dog accepting that individual. So when I say information, I mean there's a way to address a dog. There's a way that you're going to posture. So you have to be very interactive with the person who's addressing your puppy and your dog. And by that, I mean, give them information about not looking directly into the eyes of the dog, which, for us as humans is very counterintuitive. We want to look at people. It's our culture to be polite. You look at people in the eye. That's what we're taught as kids. But communicating with people and communicating with dogs is much different, right?
Very different. It can be intimidating to the dog, and which can become intimidating to the person.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly right. So ask the person not to look at, and this is initially. After a while, they will be able to look, and that'll be fine. But upon first meeting, no eye contact, have them put their hand out in an open fashion, like with their palm up. Many people like to stick the back of their palm or the back of their hand into the nose of the dog. But the dog is looking and saying, what's on the other side? Because they know that certain hands have things in them. They'll be less suspicious and more relaxed if you turn your hand up. And even more receptive if there's something tasty in it. So put the highest possible value food. And I don't care if that means leftover steak from last night's dinner or cold cuts or fish. The smellier for dogs, the better.
The better, yes.
Yeah, they love smelly stuff, don't they?
More interested.
Exactly. And so, and not until you've done this about 10 times in a row will I allow the new human to look directly in the eyes of the dog. All right? And then ultimately they can sort of turn and face the dog squarely. Until then, you're to address it sideways. The side of your body is facing them. You're not looking at them. You're not facing them. And as you deliver more and more treats, you will slowly rotate your body so that you're now squarely in front of them. And so, at this point, Amber, is there anything else that you want to add about socializing young puppies? I mean, we know we want to have them get in front of all ages of kids and people in uniforms and people with hats and people with glasses. What else? Is there anything else you can think of?
It's important to socialize them around other dogs as well. It's of different sizes and different breeds as well. The socializing as a whole, I think, is most important for your puppy.
And so what Amber is saying, and she's one of our lead people at our daycare, so she supervises the dogs and she supervises other people who take care of the dogs in their daycare attendance. So she sees every day how vitally important it is to make sure that dogs get in front of every different kind of dog. So if your dog has not been exposed to anything but their own housemates, so other dogs within your household, that is not a full socializing experience. They need to be able to do well with strange dogs, or what we call novel dogs. They need to be able to do well with dogs of different sizes, different lengths of hair, different temperaments, different play styles. Yeah. Different breeds or mix of breeds. So all of these things are things to think about and take note of, and make sure that if your dog has a certain level of discomfort with any particular dog, that you get some structured time in front of that kind of dog so that your dog has a higher comfort level in general.
I agree.
All right. Well, this is all we have for you today, folks, and we're so excited that you tuned in. And we'll be back next week with a new subject on Dog Dish with Deborah and
Amber. Thanks
for joining us.
Dog Dish is proud to welcome the law offices of Lynn Johnson, specializing in family law since 1983. Lynn is a past president of the Tacoma-Pierce County Bar Association. She is recognized in the community for her expert ability navigating her clients in peaceful resolution in domestic and relationship cases. She was an early advocate and innovator of collaborative law, but also a skillful litigator. Call the law offices of Lynn Johnson at 253-383-3333 for 10% off your first consultation. Lynn Johnson, empowering her clients with peaceful resolutions.